Hi everybody, it's Melody Joy. I wanted to share a word with you and to ask you a quick question. Who are we connected to? That is so important because there's a saying that says whoever you hang around with is like who you become. And there's a Spanish saying too. I'm not going to go into it, but yes, there's a saying. So who are we connected to? In John chapter 15, verse 1 through 4, it talks about Jesus saying, I am the true vine. My Father is the vine dresser. It cuts and he cuts away the branches that doesn't produce the fruit. Okay, which means who are you connected to? If Jesus is the vine and we are the branches, he's going to cut things off that are not producing good fruit. How do we know that we're producing good fruit? Now, if you go down a few verses below, I believe it's in verse 12, or 10, it says, by obeying my commandments. And then in verse 12, it specifies which commandment or what commandment he's specifically talking about in this particular verse, talking about Jesus being the true vine and us being connected. And this is what he says, this is my commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. So that is how we bear good fruit. For God to see that, what we're doing in our personal lives is loving other people. We're not standing in a place of judgment. And that's another thing I was listening to this morning, that, there's a lot of people that haven't or don't like going to church. And a lot of them, they say, well, because they don't feel welcomed, maybe they feel more judged than they do feel loved. And we all know that to be true if we're being 100% real and honest. You know that every single person, whether you're a believer, whether you're an atheist, whoever and whatever belief system you have, we do judge people. That's just our nature. But the whole point is you don't want to judge somebody away from God. And the worst place to judge people is in church. So I would talk to all of us. This is talking to myself too. Don't look at the person that's walking into your church with, shorts on, or maybe they're not done the way that you're used to or the way that your congregation looks. Don't judge that person. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know. And they don't even know yet. The word says that we're fisher of men, but Jesus does the gutting out. He does the changing and he does the cleaning of the fish. Don't let it be our job to try and clean somebody else when we're dirty. We got to concentrate on our own self. So there is just a word for you to remember. Let's not stand in judgment of people, but let us be connected to the true vine, and by showing good fruit. Good fruit, how do you show good fruit? By loving people the way that Jesus loved us, still when we were still sinners. And yes, the Pharisees, the religious people, stood in judgment of Jesus because he was hanging around, with the prostitutes and the drunk people and the all crazies and whatever. He was under the same judgment, and these are the religious people. That's why it's such an understanding. Like, you have to separate religion from relationship with God. The same way that I have a friendship or relationship with my parents or friendships with people is the same relationship that you have with God. He's not some untouchable unseen force somewhere in the skies. That's not who he truly is. And I would just encourage you, don't stand in judgment of anybody who is coming into church. Whatever they look like, whatever their mannerisms are, what they do right, what they don't do right. Don't stand in judgment. Just encourage them. Be a loving, helping support system, and just speak into them the word of God, because the word of God will clean them. They'll soon understand, oh man, this thing that I used to do, or this thing that, I used to wear or whatever, I don't think I kind of fit in. I don't feel like wearing this anymore. I don't feel like speaking like this anymore. A change will happen because evidence will show itself when God has made a true change in a person. So there we go. Sunday morning, this is your word. Next Sunday, don't judge anybody that walks through that door that doesn't look like you or that is a little bit different. And if you've experienced judgment, which I know I have, even by Christian people themselves, and it's horrible. It's not good to do that. Don't do that. That is not the commandment of God. And he speaks against that. You got to love one another as Jesus loved us. You have to love people while they're still in their sin. love them. You don't have to love the sin, because who likes the sin? Who likes the actual murdering, the actual lying? Nobody likes that. But you have to love the person behind that. Hurt people, and they need love too.